Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be building out an AI proposal generator tool in Claude Code and Antigravity. And what we're going to build is a fully functioning front end, a fully functioning back end. You're going to be able to enter a bit of information about the project you're looking to create a proposal for. You're going to be able to enter your site website that we're going to go and scrape, which is going to give all the details and context of the AI. The AI is then going to go and write a beautiful looking proposal. And then you're going to be able to edit this proposal in our front end and see how it all looks directly there. That's currently the idea in my head. We're going to flesh that out. And yeah, we're vibe coding today to build this little tool so I can show you that you can build out automations really, really well using Google Antigravity and Claude Code without writing any code or not knowing how to code yourself. So who am I and what do I do? My name's Yash and I run my own AI automation agency. We're currently at $20,000 per month. And I travel the world. As you can see here, this is me in Bali and this is me in Indonesia as well. And I'm currently in Thailand actually doing my scuba course. And I travel around the world building out automations, selling them to clients who find them super, super useful for many thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's what funds my lifestyle and that's why I'm able to travel. So while I was traveling, a bunch of people asked me, hey Yash man, how do you travel? How do you do all of this? How do you run your agency? How do you build out these automations, right? You don't even have a computer science degree. How do you do it? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you just that. And also I'm going to show you my step-by-step anti-gravity framework that I use to create valuable automations like this one that you can sell. So my whole point in the whole channel and everything I do is to show you how to build AI automations that people are actually going to pay for step by step, right? I'm not going to show you some shiny object syndrome or the latest, newest tool that came out that in my opinion is not useful, right? You need to come up with a clear process to build out these automations that, people will find valuable that you can actually sell, right? That's the whole point. And that's what I'm going to try to do in this video and what I'm going to show you, right? I also have a community if that's something you're interested in. It shows you how to start your own AI automation agency from someone that's already done it step by step. So if that's something you're interested in, there's a link in the description for that. Anyways, let's hop right in. So the step-by-step framework is right over here. You can find this entire step-by-step framework in my community as well. So step one, decide what you want to build. For example, an invoice extractor tool. Well, today I already sold. We're going to build out an AI proposal generator. So let's go ahead. So step one's kind of already done, kind of. So now we want to go to step two, which is to define exactly what we're going to build. And we're going to use a prompt to do this, right? So I'm going to go over to our lovely prompts tab right here on our Google Doc. And prompt one is what we're going to use, figure out what we're building. So I'm going to copy over this entire prompt. I'm going to paste it over into Claude over here. And I'm going to click enter. And now Claude is going to kind of do this investigative kind of consulting approach where it's going to go back and forward with me to create a scope about what we're going to build. So it's going to go through in as many details or as little details we have now without being too technical. And then it's going to work through the details with me about what exactly we're going to build. This is why I said I have an idea, but it's not fleshed out, which is how I think most people start automations, right? They have this kind of idea where they have no clue exactly how the details are going to work. And if you're ever building an automation, the devil is in the details. So let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to build. Hey, so I want to build out an automation, and what this automation is going to do is going to be like an AI proposal generator. And this AI proposal generator, we're going to be able to enter a link in and also a little bit of information about the project that we're looking to scope. And then an AI might ask some clarifying questions. This is stuff that we might have missed out, that it will need information to create an amazing proposal. We then want to go and create this proposal. I want it to look really, really beautiful. And I also want to be able to edit it in our front end as well, once the proposal has actually gone and generated. So I think that's a good enough idea. Give me 2 seconds. Let me think if I want to add anything else in here, and then we can go ahead and send this off to the AI. If you have any other ideas on other ways to make this a better proposal generator, but make sure the automation is still simple, then let's do that. Cool, so add a little bit at the end, which essentially says if it has any other ideas, then it can suggest them to me, and I'll double check if they're any good or not. So let's go ahead with this. It's a lovely big prompt for it to think and do. I'm actually going to turn off extended thinking for the rest of this. Sometimes I feel like it takes too long. When you say enter a LinkedIn link, I meant, no, not LinkedIn link, I meant their website link. Maybe I said LinkedIn. There we go. I'm just clarifying that. So I meant their website link. That makes it even more scary. Their website can automatically pull and combine their website. Good. At least this guy's got my ideas going. And what's next? So what kind of project are proposals for? So let's go. We're going to build it for me. So we're going to go AI automation projects is what these proposals are built for. And that's a very focused niche, keeping it a proposal. Would you like to enter? So the AI will research, then craft a proposal. When you enter it on, what kind of details would you put in? For example, problem you're solving. I'll enter in whatever I feel like. You should investigate to ensure you have enough information. There we go, cool. So this is one of the features I wanted to go back and forward, kind of like an agent, which is kind of how these automations are going. We're kind of building out agents now rather than building out just structured automation. Sometimes structured automations are great, but agents is definitely the way it's going. Got it. So rather than a fixed form, it's more free. That actually leads to clarifying. How would you want to clarify a question? The AI asks the proposal writer inside the app, so the AI just does best with what it has and you edit it afterwards. Definitely this. We want it to ask all the different questions inside, like a back and forth before it writes everything. How many rounds of questions do you want to just... Let's have a back and forth, I think. What do we think? I think back and forth is good. Let's do that. Like this, kind of like a conversation, not just a checklist. How should the AI signal it's done asking questions and ready to generate? A button says generate proposal. Let's go with this and then a confirm button. Sweet. Feels natural, like working with a smart assistant. Do you want to have existing brand style, or do you think the proposal... I think the brand style should match what's on the website. So over here, it's asked me like, how do we want to go edit the proposal? I've just said like, click on any text and change it, right? Inline editing, it is clean and simple. What format should the final proposal be exported in? Let's slap it in a PDF. We all love a little bit of PDFs. Awesome. Now, so you edit the app, then export. Should the app save a history of the proposal you generated? Nah, let's leave that. No history required. I guess that could be an extension, but for now, I think we're good with no history for this specific project. I think this covers everything. I've read through all the different features it has, and I think it has a large number of everything we mentioned. I think it has everything we mentioned, actually. So we can go ahead. This is kind of like the consulting process. Like I said, question, answer, and now go ahead. So it's going to create us a really beautiful scope, which is going to be sweet, right? So here's the scope over here. I'm going to go over to steps again to keep the productivity high and go to step 3. This is going to determine how we're going to build it. So I'm going to go over to prompts. I'm going to go over to prompt 2. This is going to figure out how we're going to build it. So let me go and copy all of prompt 2 over. I'm going to open up a brand new Claude chat to preserve some context. I'm going to click enter. And I'm also going to go and copy over our lovely scope over here. This should include all the different details. And we're going to go back to our project scope and I'm going to paste this in. And actually, is it going to ask any questions here or is it going to come straight? Do you know what? I've got a different idea. Let's go here. Let's copy this. Let's paste this in. But instead, this one I do want some extended thinking. I want it to think about everything before it goes through. So there we go. We've got some extended thinking going on here. And it's going to search the web for all the latest tools. And then basically, you know how we have all these features over here that it told us about? Here are all the features. It's going to decide the best tech stack that we're going to use to actually create these features, right? So I've given it some guidance in my prompt about what tech stack we're going to be using. That's like certain, and that stays steady with every single automation. However, over here, I want to make sure that it picks some like Python libraries and stuff. I just want it to pick it. I don't really want to have to Google and research every single Python library. Obviously, if you're building up like a proper like huge SaaS, then you might want to do a little bit more research into it, but this is a micro app, right? This is like an automation that you can sell to a client for a specific problem that they're solving. Now, this is obviously very generic. Proposals are like a generic automation. Normally, our automations are a little bit more niche, but of course, no one on YouTube wants to watch a niche automation that's only specific to one company. So I do normally leave them a little bit more general, and then you can niche them down because the process works the same for any specific automation you want, right? So that's why it's more about the process and then how we can go about vibe coding the whole thing. Okay, so it's now creating our full tool stack recommendation document. While it's doing that, let's actually do one more thing. I'm going to go to the step-by-step document and I'm actually going to grab prompt 3. I'm going to paste it into another chat. So let me go and do that. So here's our other chat. I'm going to go and paste this in, and this is going to essentially ask me for the project scope and also for our tech stack. I think, yeah, the tool stack recommendation. The tool stack recommendation is currently what's generating, so we can't go any further with this. However, what we do have is the scope that's ready. So I'll copy this once we're ready to move on to getting the backend prompt done. Sweet. Is it still going? I think it's still creating a full tool stack recommendation. We can also do some more steps, I think, ahead of time. just so we're all ready to go. So we can add our agents.md file into Antigravity. So if you've never used Antigravity before, you need to go to antigravity.google and need to go and download Antigravity. Once you've done that, you'll come up to a page that looks something like this, where you'll be a big option to click Open Folder. What I want you to click is Open Folder. And I'm going to go into my Antigravity YouTube video, and I'm going to click New Folder, and I'm going to click Proposal Generator, right? So over here we have our lovely proposal generator, and then it'll create this brand new folder on our laptop. It's going to be completely empty, right? It's going to be an empty folder, and this is where all our code files are going to live. So I'm going to click Open right here, and boom, we have our proposal generator ready to go. You can see, and our Gemini agent over here. This is where we can view all the files, and this is where all like the actual files will live, and then we can view them over here. So what I want to do now, I want to show you how you can get Claude code in here, right? So you're going to click on extensions on the left, and you're going to type in Claude, and then you're going to see Claude code for VS opening up, and then it's going to install everything nice and neatly. And once it's installed, you're going to see this little Claude icon over here. You're going to click open, and bada bing, bada boom, you're going to have a lovely Claude code kind of session over here. And there we go. That's Antigravity all set up. You have two agents, agent number one, agent number two. This is Antigravity's agent, and this is Claude Code's agent. To get the Claude Code agent up, you might need to like sign in. You do need a paid Claude plan to use Claude Code. $20 is the minimum, I think, for a paid Claude plan. And then we have the agent over here. Let's check if our project scope is done. It is very much done. I'm going to quickly read through this, and let's have a look at what tech stack it's had. So it's got all the features, bada bing, bada boom. Database selection, SQLite, I'm cool with that because we're not having any memory. So normally with database, we have two options, Superbase or SQLite. SQLite doesn't have very much memory in it or no login systems, etc., whereas Superbase is a more technical setup. I have in my previous videos set up automations with Superbase, so you can go check those out if that's something you're interested in looking into. So tool recommendations is what I'm more interested in now. So let's have a look. URL and context input. We've already given it this information, so I'm cool with this tool. This is sweet. And then website scraping, it's going to use Playwright and Python, which is fine. It's already needed for PDF export, so no new net. This is perfect. We can use this. I'm cool with that. The other thing we can use is an API. Like I normally like Bright Data. They have an amazing API, but this is not necessary for this exact automation. I think Playwright is cool for this, so let's go ahead and do that. It also requires less integration, as the AI will just figure out the Python libraries in the background. Sweet. Brand extraction is going to use Beautiful Soup. This is cool. I think that's fine with me. Brand extraction visual is going to use Color Thief, but stable no, pure Python, slightly slower. That's fine. I think we can use this. This is awesome. And then AI conversation engine, Anthropic Claude is cool with me. I think this is good. That's what I want to use for our AI engine. Dynamic phone follow-up questions. This is handle entirely the AI step 5s. Review what it knows so far. No additional. This is fully given by Claude. Each turn stateless API stable session. SQL holds the session messages and server-side history. I'm sure it knows what it's doing. And then the readiness signal AI confirms it has enough information. The AI signals proposal generation. Again, I'm not super familiar with Python library, so I normally rely on the AI, but it seems to have done quite a good job here. Inline is TipTap. It's a React library. That's fine. Python library is cool. I think a large portion of this tech stack looks good. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about, which is the actual AI conversation, right? I want to make sure that when we go to generate all the proposal, it has all the context from before. And this is the bit where I'm a little bit concerned. So I want to know more about this. I'm going to switch off extended thinking. I don't want to spend too much time watching Claude think. There we go. This UI is really bad on Claude, by the way, to like turn it off. I click it like 4 times and it turns off, turns on, turns off, turns on. Super annoying. Anyways, step 6, dynamic follow-up questions. How exactly does this work? So how exactly does this work? I want to make sure that all the context from the question and answer session is given to the AI that's actually going to go and generate the proposal. And I want to make sure it has all of that. So is this, and also Claude, when it's asking another question, it should have all the context just to make sure it doesn't ask the same question again. So this will all work, right, with the method you've set out. Okay, set up, apparently. That's fine. All right, let's go with this. I also have a really big problem with Apple's text-to-speech. I need to look for another text-to-speech method because it misses, like, set out was very clear. I don't know how it got up. Okay, Claude is confident that it works perfectly with the method laid out. Cool. I'm going to trust it, right? Maybe that might be my downfall. Maybe it won't. We'll find out, we shall. So tool stack recommendation, markdown, sweet. So I'm going to copy this. and I'm going to paste this into our backend prompt. And I'm also going to go over here to the scope. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this into our backend prompt as well because it wanted both those details, right? Tool stack and project summary. I'm going to crack on with the extended thinking and let it go and create a backend prompt for us. While it's doing that, I want to add go to step 5. So currently we're generating the backend instructions. I also want to do step 5, which is to add an agents.md file to Antigravity. This is kind of like a Bible. It's what it will follow every single time it generates any code or does anything. It will use this agents.md file. So we have like some constraints like do not use ORM, legacy packages, etc., etc. This is a highly technical file that quite honestly, I didn't explain. My co-founder software engineer actually set a large portion of this up, and also Claude helped set this up. So I'm not going to run through it, but it is a very technical file that essentially helps configure like a tech stack that works for these high velocity automations to build this stuff really fast. So we're going to go over here and we are going to go to our proposal generator tab. I'm going to click a new file. I'm going to click agents.md. I'm going to click enter, and I'm going to paste in our lovely agents.md file right here and click Command S. So now it is all saved up. I'm also going to close off the agent from Antigravity for now because I'm not going to be using that. I'm actually going to be using Claude Code to start off with. I'm going to close off our agents.md file, but I'm going to leave it open so Claude can have a look at that. I'm also going to make sure we are using the default model. I'm going to keep the effort to medium. So that's all set up. Claude is all ready to go. I just need to paste in the backend prompt now. I'm hoping this Claude over here has set up our backend prompt. Let's see. Yes, it has set up a lovely backend. Oh, never mind. It's still writing our backend prompt. So I will ensure that our agent will get this at some point, and that will start off actually building our project using Claude Code. Okay, the backend prompt is done. I'm going to flick over to Claude Code. I'm going to paste this. One more thing I forgot to do is first I want it to go into plan mode, right? I want it to create a plan of how to build the backend. This is so it mitigates mistakes. If I click edit automatically, sometimes it will create some mistakes in the backend and they're just a pain to debug. So I'm going to get it to create a plan. Once it creates a plan, I'm going to accept that plan and it's going to go ahead and smash out our backend. So let me click go over here. So sweet. While it comes up with a plan, we can still be a little bit productive and we can go to our next steps. So we're currently on build backend in Antigravity. What we can now do is generate the front end instructions for Antigravity as well, right? So we're going to go to prompt 4a, which is our front end one. And I'm going to copy this entire prompt. I'm going to click open a new chat just to preserve some memory. I'm going to click enter with the prompt that we have for the front end. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on Claude Code to make sure there is nothing for me to like kind of look at or approve. So that's cool. I think Claude Code is still doing its thing. So in the meantime, we can say to get started, you paste in your project scope and tool stack. Let's go and do that. So do you reckon I can be a little bit cheeky and copy this message over here? Let's see if that will work. Over here, can I copy this? Will it paste both in? If I do this and paste, it just pasted the top one. It didn't paste the actual tool stack. Actually, it's fine. That's what we got the project scope summary here. Let me go and get the tool stack over here and paste this in as well. Tool stack and project scope summary. Let's get it to go and ask us some questions about how the front end should be. Okay, so Claude Code is still working. We're going to go through and answer some of these questions. So how should the app feel visually? That's interesting. I want it to proposal generator. Dark, moody, premium, neutral, bold, and confident. I don't know why, let's go with it. The tool has 3 distinct phases: input, chat, proposal. How should these feel? A single scrolling page, step-by-step wizard, the chat and proposal live side by side once everything's started, full screen transitions between phases. I like a step-by-step wizard. I don't know why, I was between 1 and 2. Let's go with number 2. Let's go with the step-by-step wizard. Now, while the AI is scraping the client website, which could take 5 minutes, animated progress, analyzing brand colors, simple spinner with single loading page, a skeleton placeholder. Let's go with animated progress with live messaging. A little bit more complicated to create, but I'm sure it will do it well. Great choices. Bold plus wizard style gives us real structure. Thank you, Claude. Let's also check out what other questions is going to pop for us. In the meantime, let's also check up on Claude Code. Nothing new for us to kind of look at. I think it's still trying to write the plan out, so let's let it do that. For the chat phase, how should the AI's questions and users' answers be laid out? So we want the classic chat bubble, clean, full width, minimal. Interesting. I think a classic chat is fine. Maybe something a little bit more creative might be good, but let's go with a classic chat, sure. When the AI signals it's ready to generate, how should the moment feel? A prominent banner, let's have a look. A prominent banner card appears mid-chat with the generate proposal. The chat fades out and a full screen takes over. A sticky bottom bar slides up with a confirm button and mode or interrupts. I think a banner / card is cool. How should the proposal generation loading state feel? A dramatic full screen and then a reveal progress bar with the section names ticking off as they complete. Let's go with that. This all sounds really, really nice for the front end. Perfect. While we're going, let's also check up on Claude Code. It's come up with a whole plan. I'm going to be a bit blazing and just click, let's go with it, bro. Let's build out this automation. So now it's going to go and build some stuff. So I definitely need to keep a bigger eye on it now. But how should the final proposal be laid out on the screen? I think like a Word document is cool. For inline editing, how should the user discover a subtle highlight on hover, a flow to a toolbar, double click to edit, single click to read, click anywhere in the section to turn the whole block into a text. I think this one. Let's go with that. How should errors be shown? I like toast errors normally. Let's go with that. Sweet. And let's send this across to Claude, and hopefully it's probably got a last set of questions. I'm going to click yes, so we can do this. And let's wait for these questions to go through. In the meantime, I'm going to stare at Claude Code because it just asks me a bunch of different questions. I'm going to close this. Export sticky top bar, export prominently floating action inside the toolbar. I'm just going to keep it here. Extracted brand colors be surfaced anywhere in the UI so the user can see what's detected, sorry. Yes, a small swatch should the extracted brand colors be. I think we let it influence it invisibly for the brand colors. So I went with that one. Since this is a single session tool with no saved history, how should starting over work? A start new proposal button on the proposal page only. Let's go with that. Sweet. Perfect. This is everything I need. It's going to do a full review. Bold, single, no auth, no history. Phase 1, phase 2, and then phase 3. I think it's all good to go. Yep, all good. Claude Code is probably telling me to do something. I just clicked yes. Sweet. Yes, all good. Let's hope it can go and generate our, like a plan. What do you mean some of the answers didn't come through? Just the choices for these 3. What did it not come through? Where should the export PDF button? Top right, prominent. Sweet. Should the extracted brand colors be surfaced in the UI? No. How should starting over work? Create new proposal button on the page where we view the proposal. Sweet. Let's go with that. I think that should make everything clear. And now it's going to do a full review again because for some reason it didn't send the stuff from before. So that's fine. All good. Let's just make sure this is all good. And then nothing on Claude Code is requiring my attention. So let's flick back to here. All good. And now it's going to go create a lovely proposal kind of front end specification. And then we've got prompt 4B to actually go and create the prompt for Antigravity or Claude Code to actually use to create. So I'm just going to wait for Claude to finish doing this prompt. I'm also going to go to our step-by-step guide over here, and I'm going to go to prompt 4B, which is the front-end building prompt, and I'm going to copy this. Okay, so it's done. It created like this whole beautiful front-end design specification. And now what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a prompt with the design specification. I've turned on extended thinking on Sonnet 4.6, and I'm going to click go. And boom, now it's going to go and create our front-end prompt that we're going to give Antigravity with all of this amazing context and questions that it asked us all within here. The other thing I'm going to do, just to save a little bit of time, is if you've ever built before, you'll know that this .env file is where you host all your keys so that this automation can like use Claude, for example, because obviously it doesn't have Claude in, like obviously we're using Claude Code, but it's going to use API calls for the automation to go create the proposals, etc. So it's going to need my API key, and I know it's going to ask me that at some point, probably when it wants to run some tests. I'm not going to bother waiting for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to .env, and we can see already over here, it's asking for my Anthropic key. It's already set that up in the .env file. I'm just going to go and paste my Anthropic API key into here. If you've never had like an API key, you've never used it before, you basically go to Anthropic API, click enter, and then it will navigate you to where you can find a secret key. You just add some money in, and then you can just paste your secret key into .env. It's a well-trodden path that like, I think there are like a billion videos on YouTube to show you how to do that. So if you're very, very confused, you can just go on YouTube and take a look. Okay, there we go. I added in my API key. And essentially you can see over here, it said that env has a placeholder. Let me write the test first and then add the real API key. Little does it know, I've already added mine in well ahead of it. And I'm just going to allow it to run this bash command. And there we go. I'm also going to check up on the front end prompt. Did it manage to do it, or is it asking me for any opinions? Nope, it's writing the whole prompt now. So this is good. It's a very lengthy prompt, but it looks nice. So I think we're all ready to go with the front end prompt, etc., etc. Now I'm just waiting for the back end to be done, which is almost done. It's running a quick test. And then once it's run the full endpoint test sequence, then we can just run a really quick test on ourselves. I'm going to show you how to do that. Then once we run the test for this, then we can start building the front end actually. Super, super quick. Nice. We've got a lot of stuff done in almost 35 minutes. We've got the front end prompt ready. The back end is almost built. So nice. Okay, so I'm glad we have this kind of self-testing thing in our prompt, right? Because this took absolutely ages. There was like so many times where it timed out, or there was another problem with some of the endpoints, but now it finally managed to get all the endpoints in nicely and it all works. So if you want to test this yourself, what you can do, you can go to Claude. I'm going to change my model to something a little less heavy because I switched to Opus here earlier because it was just not working and I needed it to fix the whole back end. So I switched to one of the big boys, Opus, but now we're just gone back to Sonnet again because we're doing some quiet things. We don't need the big guns. So I'm going to ask it like, hey, give me the Swagger docs and also turn on the back. Actually, we can turn on the back end ourselves. So JH, give me the Swagger docs link over here. And I'm also going to copy this command over here. I want you to go to terminal at the top and click new terminal. This is essentially how you can talk to your laptop. We're currently in the proposal generator, and if I click this, this should work. I might need to go into the backend. Nope, perfect. We've got it right here. And we can see our application for the backend has started, and this is living on our laptop, right? And if we want to test it, you can test it using the terminal where you can push commands in through here and access the endpoints. But I understand some of you aren't developers and you might not know or feel comfortable using the terminal. So we can skip that whole thing. And what we can do is we ask for the Swagger doc links. If I go and copy this and I go over here and I paste it in, you can see right here, we have the whole APIs and we have everything, and you can run all the different tests you need. For example, say you want to start a session, it will use this, and you can probably click try it out somewhere here. And you can just click execute. You can give it the context and give it your website URL. It will then go and scrape everything, and you can just put the session ID from when it will give it to you. Over here, it should give you a session ID right here, and then you can test the whole thing using the docs. So that is the easiest way to go and test your backend. I would highly recommend you test it before using it. Given this is for a YouTube video, and I don't want to spend hours and hours just showing you how to test this thing, I'm going to skip that, and what I'm going to do is go straight into building the front end. But that's exactly how you go about testing. Okay, so step 6 is done. We've built the back end. We've done all of this, and we've got the prompt. Now we need to go and build the front end. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go and grab our prompt from, I think, maybe this tab here. Are we looking here? Is this to generate the front UX design? Yes, this one over here. I'm going to copy this whole prompt. I'm going to go over to our lovely Antigravity tab. I'm going to open up a new Claude window. Again, Claude has the same thing where it can run out of context, even over here. So I'm going to paste in our entire front end prompt, and I'm going to get it to go into plan mode again, and I'm going to get it to create a plan on how to build the front end, and then it's going to go and build that out for us. We're also going to run an end-to-end test once the front end is built as well. Normally it's better to make sure the back end is fully done and fully operational before you build the front end, but I'm going to trust in Claude and think it ran through the tests, and most of the time it did actually do the tests. So I'm going to trust it and make sure that we can try and get the front end built as well, and then we can run a full end-to-end test together, testing the front end and back end all at once. Saves a little bit of time. Okay, so the front end is done. It went and did it. Just opened up the link, but I haven't actually tested it out. The back end is also running right now, so that's cool. What we should go and do is test this out end to end. So I'm going to open up my Chrome browser, and over here we have the local host, which is the front end, and you can see it looks nice. Build the proposal that speaks our language, enter client URL, describe the project, we'll handle the rest. So let me go and enter in my company website. So if I go over here and I just click copy this link, this is for Pluto AI, and then we're scoping an AI automation. Let's go for this. We're scoping an AI automation, which essentially automates the building of proposals. They will just need to enter in a few short details and also the website of their client, and then it will automate all of their proposals for them. This is what I want to build. Cool, right? So over here, now it's going to click, and then we're going to click Analyze Client Website. We've got the details. I'm building a proposal for the project we're currently building. It's a bit of an inception, but let's go for it. All right, analyzing, fetching the client website. Also, one of the cool things you can see, it basically gave me the link over here. So that's the link I went to. And it finished up all the little to-dos over here. It is saying ready, it's analyzing. It's weird it's stuck on ready. Let's just keep an eye on exactly what's going on here. Oh, nice. And now we have our little Q&A chatbot right here. Sweet. So let me move my little recording thing out of the way. You probably won't be able to see that. I'm excited to create a proposal for you. At the time spent creating pretty inconsistency, difficulty scaling, handling more prospects. Yeah, so the issue is mainly difficulty handling more prospects, and also there's a bunch of time being spent on proposals. Sweet, let's send that across to the AI, and then hopefully this will say perfect. This UI could maybe get improved a little, where this should just be black. I don't think this gray thing works nicely, but we can definitely try and improve that later. Perfect, that's helpful. For instance, does it kind of take a few hours or days per proposal? Yeah, so it's taking like 3 hours per proposal. We want to get that down to like 10 minutes. Sweet. All right, there we go. That's another answer for the chatbot. Excellent. That's a dramatic efficiency gain, 94% time. Many proposals you're currently creating per week or month. Let's say we are creating 10 proposals every month. Yeah, we're creating about 10 proposals every single month. Sweet. So that's good. So then that will tell you that's 30 hours a week. Let's say that's 30 hours of work that could be dropped under to 2 hours. That's significant. My next question is, beyond the client's website URL, you mentioned a few short details that we're talking about these things. Yeah, so they will just enter in whatever details we have, and then we'll have a chatbot that will take out the rest of the details from them, so they don't have to think about so many of the details. There we go. Hopefully that will answer the question for it. So then it can go and create a nice little proposal for us. That's smart, minimum quantitative lead. Are we talking weeks or months for delivery? Sure. So this should take around 2 weeks for delivery, and we're probably going to charge $6,000 for this. Perfect. That's cool. And now it's going to ask a few more questions. For example, are you measuring the proposal's acceptance rate? We'll measure whatever you think is best. Let's just go with that because we're creating a dummy proposal. Yeah, sure. We can include a company overview and the scope of work, a bit of pricing breakdown, and then the return on investment piece as well. Sweet. So that's what the proposal is going to contain now. And we're automating company overview. I have everything. Now we have a nice little generate proposal button. And now we're going to go over here and it's going to go and generate the proposal for us using this nice little UI. Okay, all the steps are done. And now it is generating our proposal for us. I'm just going to wait and see what it does after this. Okay, so it's stuck on the generating your proposal page. I haven't got a proposal or anything, and it kind of just bugged out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Claude, and I'm going to say it's currently stuck on the generator. Not sure why. Can you fix this? Tell me fast before making any changes. This is just so it can go and fix this. I also changed the model to the big guy Opus again, just so it can do some debugging a little bit faster and a little bit more, precise, instead of having Sonnet do it and having to go around in a circle all the time. Okay, so Claude came up with some ideas on how to do it. It said, here's the fix. So I've told it to go and fix it. Let's hope it gets fixed, then we can run another test again. Okay, so we're going to try again. I'm going to be honest, I didn't answer these questions as well as I answered the previous questions on the second test round, but we'll go and see how the fix went. So Claude fixed everything. And now it's going to execute, understand, propose, blah, 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 and then hopefully we'll actually see a completed proposal this time. Okay, so we're trying one more time, and hopefully this time it should create the full proposal for us. It's doing the implementation stage, and hopefully it should all work out. And here we go. Here is the entire proposal. It has done everything. It's put it in a nice little neat format for us, and you can even download it, which hopefully should download the PDF for us right here. And we had a chat with the chatbot. It basically got everything we needed to get, and it did everything really, really well. I did enter dummy data for this one, but I checked the previous one, and it took all of our information from the chatbot and put it into the proposal, which is super, super cool. And here we go. This is what it looks like as a PDF. It looks super, super neat. Of course, you can add your own branding and everything else onto this proposal and maybe make it look even neater. I think you can even give it like a HTML kind of template, and then it can use that as well, or customize the templates itself. So here we go. We have everything all locked and loaded with like next day plans and stuff. You can also create sections, and I do a bunch of customization to the actual proposal itself, but it does generate all the content. And now it's purely just about making it look pretty, which is what some people find as the fun part. So there we go. If you enjoyed this video, it'd mean a lot if you can interact with it, whether that be a like, a subscribe, or a follow. And if you want to see more cool automations and more like full stack builds like this one, drop a subscription and drop a comment as well. And if you have any questions, I will answer those. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.